All right, guys, thank you so much. Thomas, do you like tomatoes?
Tomatoes. Me and tomatoes have a love-hate relationship.
Okay. I won't ask any further, but we're going to talk about tomatoes here a little bit. Noi Mahoney joins us, our Borderlands writer from San Antonio, Texas. And Noi, you've got some unfortunate, possibly bad news for my wife who loves tomatoes in a deal that may actually go sour here. What can you tell us about this trade agreement that might be terminated?
Yes, that's right. A month-long comment review period undertaken by the Department of Commerce recently ended for a debate that centers around whether the U.S. should terminate its 2019 tomato trade agreement with Mexico. The debate centers around whether Mexico-based growers are dumping exported tomatoes into the U.S. at lower prices that undercut the domestic market. In June, the Florida Tomato Exchange, a trade group representing Florida growers, filed a grievance with the Commerce Department alleging that, quote, tomato imports from Mexico are destroying the U.S. tomato industry. The Commerce Department is expected to decide over the next few months whether to slap tariffs on, imports from Mexico, imported tomatoes from Mexico, or leave the 2019 trade agreement alone.
And looking at the side of the Mexican government, we have the U.S. Commerce Department accusing the tomatoes of dumping tomatoes. On the other side of the border, is the Mexican government saying, hey, this is just market economics, supply and demand, or is there any rebuttal yet from their side?
Well, it's not. I should clarify. It's not the U.S. Commerce Department accusing Mexico. It's the Florida Tomato Exchange. Florida Tomato Exchange, which is a trade group out of Mexico. The Commerce Department is expected to make a decision on whether, they feel that tomatoes are being dumped in the U.S. at lower prices. I should also add that this 2019 agreement. It's only, 4 years old, and that agreement came about also because the Florida Tomato Exchange filed a grievance back in 2018 or so, or 2019. The Florida Tomato Exchange has been sort of complaining about Mexican tomatoes for at least several decades now, maybe 20 years. It seems like every few years this comes up, and they accuse Mexico of dumping tomatoes in the U.S. at lower prices. On the other side, Mexico, says they're doing everything above board. Where they're exporting tomatoes at the reference price set by the U.S. Commerce Department, and also growers and importers in Texas and Arizona refute what the Florida Tomato Exchange is alleging. Growers and importers in Texas said that this fight between Florida and Mexico has more to do with Florida growers just trying to get more market share and more revenue for their products while slapping tariffs on Mexican imports.
Yeah, and what you just mentioned there is actually a study that came out of Arizona State University, correct?
That's correct. I don't have the exact name of the study in front of me, but what the study basically concluded was that by slapping tariffs on imports of tomatoes from Mexico, what it will do is basically hurt the economies of Texas and Arizona and any state that depends on cross trade flows between Mexico and the United States, and ultimately will also increase prices of tomatoes for regular consumers like us at the supermarket. So if you love spaghetti or any tomato related dishes, prices could increase if ultimately the Commerce Department decides to add tariffs to imports.
And looking at a timeline here, Commerce Department's going to be looking at it. When should we expect to hear more about the tomato situation? Is there a reckoning on the horizon?
Well, the Commerce Department says it could take several months, but I sort of think it won't take that long. So I'm sort of keeping my eye on their announcements that come over, up through their website. It could take several months, but I think it'll be a lot less than that, one way or the other. I'm not sure which way the Commerce Department will decide, but it could be anywhere from a few days to a few months.
Yeah, well, this gives me a time to enjoy my wife's chili for a little bit longer before it gets more expensive. Noi, you mentioned in your excuse me, in your Borderlands article, you've got also some interesting investments, also some contraction there as well. Can you go into some of those points?
Yeah, Walmart recently opened a new distribution center just south of Dallas. It's a massive distribution center, about 1.5 million square feet. It has about 1,000 employees, and this distribution center is aimed at enabling them to fulfill online orders more quickly. They're really making a big push for their online e-commerce solutions off of their websites. And this distribution center is one of 5 distribution centers planned for around the U.S. What Walmart is calling, cutting-edge technology-based distribution centers aimed at fulfilling e-commerce orders more quickly. And also, as you mentioned, unfortunately, there was layoffs that just happened in Texas as well as Oklahoma. It's sort of in the same region, the Texas-Oklahoma border. This company called Gulfmark, which is a marketer and distributor of crude oil and other fuel products. They laid off about 670 employees across several sites in Oklahoma and Texas, including about 40 truck drivers. So it's a pretty tough situation right now for those communities.
And looking forward to stuff that you're working on as we round out this segment. Anything in the works you can give us a sneak peek into?
I do have an announcement coming. It's sort of under embargo, so I can't talk about the names of the company, but it's a freight tech company that's acquiring another freight tech company. And it's a pretty interesting situation. That should be out either tomorrow or very, very early sometime this week, but that'll be a big announcement in the freight tech world.
Just real quickly, very quickly, as you look at this, we've already talked about lots of investment going into the Borderlands area. How much is freight tech kind of getting in that area as well?
We're starting to see more and more of it, especially as you have these big manufacturers like Tesla and these EV battery makers putting facilities all along the U.S.-Mexico border. Freight tech is becoming a big part of that. So investment is flowing along the Borderlands region, as you know.
Perfect, Noi. Thank you so much for the information. As always, we'll keep an eye on the developments and touch base with you again soon.
Thank you so much.